Recognising we are still 2 councillors short, one of whom may be delayed because of work commitments, and recognising that 4 of the public wish to make presentations to the council, I think we'll make a start, please. Recognising time is not always on our side, I would respectfully ask any those that are making comments, can you keep them to about 3 or 4 minutes, please? I should also remind you that above you and behind you is a camera that will record everything that's said at both the public meeting and at our council meeting. And I should also reiterate...
I have more than 3 minutes worth of work.
Sorry, could you share that with us, or do you use it something private?
No, we were just discussing that I actually have visual dyspraxia. I don't read rapidly, but I'll do it as quickly as I can.
Right, okay.
All right.
That's fine. But I would also say that the items that almost certainly you wish to make comment on is not on our agenda tonight, and the council will not be discussing it there at its council meeting. I'd also say, because there are 4 of you wishing to make comments, perhaps it would be helpful if we could have you making comments that are unique, perhaps, rather than just reiterate everybody else is saying. If there's something new. In no particular order, who would like to go first?
I think I was asked to go first, if
Okay,
that's
Shirley.
okay.
Thank you.
Right. So I was asked if I would attend today and read my letter to the Parish Council, as it was felt that the letter reflects the thoughts of many Brent Knoll residents. I wish to state that I do not usually engage in negative comment, but on this occasion I felt that I've been left with no alternative. It was with great disappointment that I responded to a parish council who have previously served me well, and despite having a different political allegiance, I've always voted for our elected member, Bob Filmer, based on 30 years' experience in the village and my belief that he not only served us well but also had our best interest at heart. My letter refers to the Parish Council decision to agree planning application number 0717000004 relating to a small strip of land at the top of Brent Street adjoining the A38, and it reads, Dear Sir, Madam, I want to register my objection to the proposed planning permission to build 14 large houses on the corner plot north side of Brent Street at the junction of the main A38 alongside the dual carriageway. Current maximum speed limit 70 miles per hour. I also wish to register my opposition to the installation of traffic lights at this A38 junction. Unfortunately, like most of the residents of Brent Knoll, we did not attend the meeting of the Parish Council Planning Committee on Thursday the 2nd of March 2017. This was not due to lack of interest, commitment or availability. It was because we were not informed that such a meeting was scheduled to take place. We did not receive written notification. We did not receive verbal notification. We were not consulted by way of a questionnaire from any of the members of the Parish Council. We did not have an option to discuss the proposal with our local Parish Council. We were not made aware of any opportunity to provide our views to our elected member of the Parish Council, or in fact that our elected member had decided to step down from Sedgemoor Planning Committee in order to participate at parish level. It has now become apparent that only immediate neighbours and a few houses further up the A38, who will not be affected by the changes, received a letter informing them of the meeting. It was stated at the meeting that opinion in Brent Knoll concerning this development is split 50-50. This was recorded and is available to watch on YouTube. It is factually impossible for anyone to make this claim when no independent local consultancy has taken place. The only presentation of proposed development was undertaken by the actual developer, and my own experience of this was not good. Their reactions to any queries or opposition were hostile, aggressive, and at times intimidating. True consultation did not occur, as it was a biased account with loaded questions. All the people attending the first event have voiced a similar opinion, and one of the council representatives at the meeting, in opposition to the plans, stated this quite clearly in the video. Such misrepresentation and disregard for the views of local people risk bringing council proceedings into question and potential disrepute. Had this meeting been made known to local residents, there would have been heavy representation against the proposed development and the installation of traffic lights at this junction, not least because it is outside the boundary for developments. Local government proceedings are required to be conducted in an open, honest and transparent manner, and most of all to be above question. Although somewhat indirect, the diary in the Brent Knoll News would have provided the information about the meeting. The Brent Knoll News for March was late and not delivered until the 9th of March 2017, a week after the meeting took place. Based on a total failure to consult local residents, a failure to accurately represent the views of local people, a failure to enable or allow input by local residents, and a failure to reach a decision based on the actual facts around the proposal, I would request that the outcome of Brent Knoll Parish Council planning meeting be disregarded, that the proceedings be judged to be inadequate, and for investigation to be instigated. I request that any proposed development of the site should be halted until the residents of the village of Brent Knoll have been fully and properly consulted, enabling their views to be fully and correctly represented. Only when this situation has been reached should the councillors be allowed to debate and vote with full and accurate democratic representation, and the outcome be made known to Sedgemoor Planning Committee. Yours faithfully, Shirley Tarpley. I thank you all for listening and would like to remind the members of the Parish Council that it is within their power to listen, to reassess and to reverse their decision if it is now deemed to be the appropriate course of action. I have been assured that it is absolutely possible for this to happen based on the vast wealth of information and opinion provided via letter and email to Sedgemoor District Council Planning Department. Currently, in excess of 90% of respondents have voiced objections. I understand that due to the Local Government Act 1972, with the backing of 1/3 of the electors present, or 10 electors, whoever the lower number, present at this Parish Council meeting, that a referendum should be held to overturn the Parish Council decision, as it is my belief that it is the original decision should only have been made as a result of a parish referendum. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Becky.
As you'll remember, I spoke at your last meeting to express mine and many other views against the planning application of the 14 houses and the associated traffic lights, application number 0717000004. This evening, I'd like to add just a couple of other comments. First, I wanted to comment on your discussions about the planning application at the last meeting. I was concerned, as many others were, that Councillor Bob Filmer was able to take part in the discussion and vote, as he has never taken part in the planning matters before. However, I have spoken to Bob Filmer this afternoon and he has given me an answer as to the reason why he was able to take part. I've also looked at the Code of Conduct. It states councillors should be open about their views and give reasons for their decisions. Again, Councillors Bob Filmer and David Knott, who is not here tonight, voted for the approval for this application but failed to speak in the meeting. Surely if they had nothing to say or no strong opinion, they should have abstained from the vote, given this is such a major planning application, not just a house extension or even one house. Secondly, I'm here tonight to ask you to reconsider your decision to approve this application. You are supposed to be representative of your parish. As you must be aware now, many people in this community are not supportive of this application. You only need to look at the planning portal to see today that there are over 80 objections. A petition has been signed in the post office by just as many against this application. The basis of this application is on the P4 policy, which concerningly the councillors needed to have explained to them at the last meeting. This is the most important part of this application. It needs to provide a benefit to the community, as the land is outside the permitted development and should not normally be built on. This should be a benefit that people want, not one a developer has come up with to get their application through. And I quote from the policy, a P4 site is an exceptional site. They have the expectation that the local community will be involved in the development rather than having the development imposed on them against their will, which is what's happening at the moment. I've lived here for 12 years. When have you ever discussed the need for traffic lights or consulted with us as to whether we want them? As you will also have seen on the planning portal, which I'm sure you've all been keeping a close eye on, there have been 4 very strong objections from the consultees, namely the Conservation Office from Sedgemoor District Council, the Leeds Local Flood Authority at Somerset County Council, Axbrew Internal Drainage Board, which also is supported by the Land Drainage and Port Officer from Sedgemoor District Council, and the Affordable Housing Policy and Development Manager. 2 other organisations, Somerset Ecology Services and South West Heritage Trust, have not been able to give their final comments because the developer has not completed the necessary reports and more information is required from them. Not to mention that Somerset Highways is yet to assess and comment on the proposal. Yet you've made a decision about this before any of this was known to you. So I ask, will you withdraw your present decision and agree to discuss the application again once all the information is in and you can give a greater consideration to this major planning application, please?
Thank you. John Martin.
Yes, 3 points to make and a question to ask. Point number 1, I have to say with absolute dismay the decision of the Parish Council to approve and support the application. You are not elected members. You are here to represent the views of Brent Knoll. To go ahead with that decision without representing the views of Brent Knoll, as evidenced by all the people here, all the objections which have been made, frankly, I think it's disgusting. Our elected member on Sedgemoor, who decided to take part in that vote, also sits on the planning committee. He has departed from his own planning policy. There was no explanation as to why during that meeting, and for the reasons that Becky has said, it should have been explained to this parish council. Thirdly, I think what this is absolutely demonstrated, like many villages in around this area within Sedgemoor, they all have village design statements. Have we considered this within Brent Knoll Parish Council? If not, why not? We need one. This sets standards for what we can expect from developments or future developments within Brent Knoll. I would actually like to propose that going forward.
I think that's the thing we were talking about, wasn't we, before?
Frankly, if you've not, given this goes back to 2005, and I'm looking at Wedmore's village design statement, if our elected member who has been on the planning committee hasn't discussed this within Brent Knoll Parish Council, there's something wrong, because we absolutely need one. Thank you.
Thank you. John Howard, please.
Good evening. Mr Chairman and fellow councillors, my wife and I have lived at 3 Brent Street for 49 years, and both our sons have enjoyed attending the village school as well as the advantage of growing up in a lovely Somerset location. We have witnessed over a period of time many changes to the A38, the construction of the M5 motorway, and from our rear garden are able to view a vast increase in vehicles using the main artery, as well as the numbers using Brent Street both in and out of the village, which we can view from our frontage. Even now, traffic often backs up from the A38, and we regularly witness frustrated motorists turning into our driveway and then travelling back into the village. With the proposed access to the site just 33 metres from our gateway, we are going to suffer from even more vehicle movement should this nightmare of a scheme become a reality. On March the 5th, this is following the meeting on the 2nd, we wrote to Sedgemoor District Council as follows. The application as above for construction of 14 dwellings, garages and formation of access on land to the southeast of 2 Brent Street, Hybrid, Somerset, TA9 4DU. Numbers 1, 3, 4, 6, 7 and 9 Brent Street were fortunate in receiving from you, that is from Sedgemoor, the notice of the above application. However, I point out that this notice does not mention the proposal of a traffic light scheme, which is part and parcel of the P4 application. I've attended all the consultation meetings presented by Colne Residential and have felt that the majority of residents who I have spoken to were very much against this application. Offering a traffic light scheme at the A38 junction, the applicants would qualify for a development outside the village boundary. However, many residents have serious issues about these problems should this application be successful. No doubt these fears will be submitted in due course, and they certainly have. Brent Knoll Parish Council discussed this application on Thursday the 2nd of March. Unfortunately, they had not made any effort to inform the villagers apart from the information on the notice boards at the post office and village hall. Consequently, only 3 of us, the chosen few, were able to make representations. And this application was probably the most important one since the proposed wind turbines. Many of us feel that the residents of the village should have been provided with their own notice of this planning applications. And I concluded by saying, we really hope that you will rectify this situation in order that all villagers will have the opportunity to respond by March the 14th. Otherwise, may I suggest you extend this deadline? Fortunately, they listened to that one, and this was done. And of course it's now April the 7th, 2 days away. And that was from myself and my wife. 2 neighbours produced over 350 information leaflets and distributed them in the village. May I add, in the pouring rain. Posters were also displayed, as well as a petition in the post office for those who wish to register their objection. On March the 24th, I wrote to the clerk of Brent Knoll Parish Council asking him to distribute a copy of my letter to each member of the Parish Council. Councillors, you will have had over a week to study its contents, and so that everyone present is in the picture, my letter reads as follows, with just a number of additional comments. I won't go through the formalities of the number of the planning application, we all know what we're talking about. It seems that Sedgemoor Planning Department also conveniently omitted the application involving a major planning policy P4 for a traffic light scheme. Even our Parish Council decided not to advertise this application by failing to canvass the residents of Brent Knoll. And as you will know, only 14 villagers were able to attend the 2nd of March meeting, with just 3 of us being able to point out the number of deficiencies in the application. You, Mr. Chairman, took no notice of our concerns. For example, my opening question to you all on March the 2nd was, is there a demand for homes on this proposed site? And this was totally ignored. In fact, the Vice Chairman appeared to be acting as an agent for Colne Residential Limited in praising the virtues of the proposed homes. In exchange, Brent Knoll was promised a cut-price partial traffic light scheme, and I don't call this a bargain. Despite admitting that you all lack the expertise to decide on the merits of a traffic scheme for the A38 junction, you, Mr. Chairman, appear determined to make a decision that evening and refused the suggestion from one of your colleagues to defer, until Highways had studied the traffic proposals. You were therefore given the green light to this planning proposal subject to Highways vetting. Mr. Chairman, since writing my letter on the 24th of March, I have pondered over why you were so insistent to go ahead with that proposal to support the application, subject to the Somerset Highway studying the proposed partial traffic light scheme. My conclusion was that with your casting vote, you could declare the support of Brent Knoll Parish Council, which I believe is supposed to represent the residents. To delay would have enabled those of us who attended that meeting on March the 2nd to canvass all parish council members, and as you clearly had not canvassed us, to point out the dissatisfaction of your failure to allow the true feelings of the residents of Brent Knoll to be acquired. The outcome would be rather different. Mr. Chairman, you together with 2 councillors dominated the debate, a 4th saying little of any relevance, and a 5th nothing at all. One can only feel that you, having to give a casting vote, the decision to support the application was not very convincing. In view of the overwhelming number of letters sent to Sedgemoor District Council Planning Department objecting to the scheme, perhaps you should feel you acted in unnecessary haste. Currently, 89 objections have been received by Sedgemoor. To date, the petition signed by over 83 parishioners will be handed into Sedgemoor Planning Department later this week. In view of this, may I suggest it is not too late to withdraw the support of Brent Knoll Parish Council, and our friends here obviously spelled out